Hammerheads 2023. Welcome to the Hammerheads host stack offense video. Ha 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 ha. Okay. On a serious note, this is our official review for fall season of Hammerheads Ultimate. Excuse me. And we're going to look at our host stack and just refresh on it. A few of you are new to the team, and so it's good to get an idea of exactly the kind of host stack we're going to run. And so I'm going to go through the basics and then kind of walk through some movement as an example of what it can look like. So thanks for sticking through it. If you're short on time, you can watch the basics and skip the part where I ramble a lot. It's okay, but I do find it to be helpful to kind of walk through how it can look when things are in motion, and I could always improve it, and I'm always up for suggestions. I am not an expert, but having a system does help, and if we're all on the same page, we will all play better together. So, without further ado, let's continue. So, we have a few spots. One is the break side handler, and 2 and 3 are the middle handlers. I have these as interchangeable because when you make a swing to 3, which is this is the ideal swing cut for 3, when this happens, 2 is going to switch back to that same 45-degree spot. It's the same lineup that we have when we run a vert stack, and I do like it a lot. So anyway, 1 should be maybe a step or 2 deeper down the field, I believe, because that gives you some room to cut for a swing. Especially because if you have this, you want some room to make that cut down, because this is one of our bread and butter plays right there. The double swing around. And this is really the basics of running host stack. If this person doesn't want to cover this person, I mean, heck, you can throw it to them right here. You can throw it to them over there. But if this person wants to poach, you have to get it to the person they are poaching off of. That will completely destroy our offense if we do not call and identify poaches. So that is the first tip. The second tip, or the general keep us out of trouble, is a lot of host stacks I see run very across the field. We think it's like 1, 2, and 3. I don't like this because throwing over here tends to just get us stuck, and I've seen a lot of drives where we get stuck and we don't use any of this side of the field, right? Our goal should be to use the break side as much as freaking possible, and taking negative yards to get on the break side, even if they still hold a force, our cone is so much bigger of available throws. So even taking a loss to dump it to the break side, unless they switch force to a backhand force, most people don't, then we're in a good spot, even taking negative yards to get over there. So let's try to remember that. And so that's the handlers. Let's get into the cutters. Let's start with the mids. The mids' jobs is to start plays, right? If handlers have the disc, you're going to want to cut and get open and make plays. So the handlers, the middle cutters are going to be the primary targets for handlers. The middle of the field is better, right? The middle of the field is a great place to be. And I said the break side as well, but generally speaking, like I said, they could reverse the force. So the middle is the safest spot on the field. You always have all the options available. So the first thing that's going to happen is one of these cutters is going to say to the other one, hey, you're hot, or whatever your signal is. Let's communicate, because that is the key to having a good offense is communication. There's no rule against telling people they can do stuff. And if you tell the other guy, hey, you got first cut, that doesn't mean, they know you're going to cut. It doesn't give too much information to the other team. So let's just say 6 cuts. If it's open, no brainer, you hit this, right? And that's a great situation where now 7 can come up and make this throw, right? And in this situation, that's easy, okay? We'll talk about this situation in a second. But let's say it's not easy and it's covered. So you are going to clear horizontally, right? The one thing I want to remind people, if you are new, if you're not it doesn't matter. The good thing to remember is hoe stack, you stack horizontally, cut vertically, right? Do not cut horizontally. If you want the disc, I don't want to see 4, 5, 6, or 7 cut like this, right? If you think you're open but you're cutting like this, that is a much harder throw to be accurate with than throwing to someone that's cutting towards you. So, for clearing, you are going to clear horizontal, right? And if this defender does not stick with it, there is the potential to hit that. But that is only if this is wide open because, again, horizontal cuts are trickier. But you are going to clear away and keep your eye on the disc because this might be open. If this is poached, this takes away a lot of throwing options. And at that point, you have this or a dump or a swing. And so will be something we'll see every now and then. Sometimes defenders, after covering the cut, they're a little tired. They want to sit and poach. Sometimes you can get around and make that nice little breakthrow. But assuming that's not there, 5 has, while this has been going on, 5 pushed out a bit, threatening a deep cut. 4 is pushing out as well. I like my wings to push deep. 4 in particular because you're on that break side, adding some deep pressure. We should always kind of have some deep pressure, so if no one's actually made a deep cut yet, go ahead and stretch that field and threaten it. With 5 kind of feigning a deep cut, they're kind of waiting to see if this is open from 6. And 6 clears. As soon as 6 starts to clear, 5 is cutting in. Again, if that's open, you take it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I feel like at this time, if this isn't open, 3 should definitely be making a break cut either when 5 is cutting or as soon as they can tell 5 isn't a sure thing, make that dump cut. So it goes from here to here. And as 5 clears, 6 is probably not quite in a position to make the next cut yet. And so that's a good spot where if the disc still hasn't left the thrower's hand, that's a great spot for 7 now to cut and kind of break out of their space a little bit more to the center because that space was open. They didn't have to cross anyone. Normally, 7 would not want to come into this space because they'd run the risk of crossing. But in that high stall situation, that's a good time for when that wing will catch from a handler. And even in this scenario where this is poached, right? So let's say this original cut is covered, but then it's poached. You don't have to make this throw. This is also a great time for 3 to make this swing cut, because then you can make this throw up the line, or you can hit this. So realistically, after the first cut isn't there, is a great time for 3 to do that. But it also works with the second cut, so just kind of feel of the game. Because in the same way, if 5, where did 5 go? Oh, it's right there. Okay. Yeah, if 5 makes the same cut, I think that's probably for the best, yeah. I feel like the second cut is the best time to make that swing dump cut if it's not poached and you feel good about it. So we can kind of experiment with what works best. But same thing, 5 might get poachy when they see that that throw doesn't come because it's higher stall, and that's why we hit that dump, hit that, keep it moving, right? 6 is going to clear out. After that catch, 5 is going to be coming in to try to mark. They'll probably cross over. Again, 7 can kind of break for him because 6 had to clear. 7 is now one of the options for 5. 4 is going deep. 5 maybe can hit that. If those aren't easy, if you get to stall 3 and nothing looks super open and you're not just waiting for something really easy that you know is going to open up, now's when you start turning and looking, finding your dump. You can even turn and look and find it faster, but I think it is good for cutters to, and everybody on this team can really throw and do the right thing. So it's fine. Like, look down the field for the first 3 seconds. Handlers are coming, and then once you hit stall 3, find your dump. As a general rule, cutters, if you're not looking for your dump after stall 3, then you're putting us in a difficult position. And that's basically the offense. You keep moving it, you push it down the field, situations, will open up for us if we just be patient and wait, right? Because like I said, if this cuts open, that's easy. Right? Five's been pushing deeper already now. Five can threaten a deep cut. Seven's already been kind of deep. It's a good time for seven to come back, come in. Five can continue deep. Seven, it's not there. If you're the wings, you don't want to clear like this. You just clear back up your side. And that way five can come in. Right? So seven was the first look. Now five's pushed deep. Seven doesn't get it. Seven pushes out. Five's up. Five gets it. Four's been pushing deep. Five gets it. Five's confident. Seven comes back up again. And now four's deep. So you can hit this or hit this. It all works together, if we just keep moving it. And it's so much fun to run this offense. The swings, the dumps, everything. It's all about teamwork and just finding, your teammate. It all really breaks down when we start looking people off or when we push it to the sideline too early and then we don't make the dumps. One thing I want to remind people is it's okay, right? It's okay to make that throw to seven. But the key is how do we respond once we're there, right? It's totally fine if this person is guarding the middle instead of their dump, just hit the dump. If they're guarding the dump, but they're not guarding it deep enough, just pull back and hit a deep super dump. It's okay. It's okay to hit the super dump. It's okay if they're, if you just need to just drop it in the lap of the person that can throw it better. If you are a newer thrower, I don't recommend being on the force side wing because it is a difficult spot to be stuck on the sideline. But even if you are, stay calm, trust yourself. We're going to get out of this, Every play does not need to be a big play. As long as we keep moving the disc, we are going to find ways to score. And that's basically the principle of the offense. Wait for the right look because you should always have more options coming. So I know it doesn't always work perfectly on the field and things break down, and that's okay. It's okay if we need to hit one dump and then say, hey, set the stack, right? Hey, everybody, set the stack. When we get to the end zone, it's okay to say, hey, set the vert. And we all get in line, right? And so probably the break side handler, will come up and be the front of the stack. And Millie's going to show us a new end zone stack set that we can try out. And I'm excited to learn that with everybody. But yeah, once we're in this vert stack, we tend to score, It tends to work for us. And I'm excited to run it more and get things done with everybody. But we have to get into it. I think the amount of times, I could probably count them on my hands, the amount of times we've actually gotten into our vert when we've tried. And we'll call it, but we always take the first look. And I think the big thing is we need to know when to be patient and when to move with haste. And finding that balance together, it just takes time playing together and teamwork and stuff, It's something we build together, but it starts with trusting each other to make the right decisions and not looking people off. So that's all I got to say. I promise to ramble every single time. I'll get carried away, and I'm like, man, that video's getting long. So if you watched and listened to the whole thing, I appreciate it. We are going to have a great season. We're going to have a lot of fun. So thanks for being here. I'm excited to play together.